The voice that you hear is the voice of none other than yours truly, Stephen M. Smith. I have returned back on the set after a few days away. We're rocking and rolling with you on a Friday, TGIF. We got the hottest show on the streets, bringing you your Bama football news. In my own words, Touchdown Alabama magazine. Happy to have everybody in here checking us out on today. We want to thank you, the fans, for all the love, the support, the concerns for me. Doing well, doing better here back on set with you guys. We want to thank everybody on the TDA staff for holding it down in my absence, including one Justin Smith, our director of scouting, who did a phenomenal job filling in for me on Monday's show. Got my man Eli Walker right here in the production studio. As always, we're bringing the show from the Magic City of Birmingham. We stream this to you via YouTube. Speaking of the channel, you know what time it is. You tap that subscribe button right now. Hit that subscribe button. Get every friend, family member, diehard Bama fan, casual Bama fan, consumer of Tide football to subscribe as well. Don't forget to share the show to everybody that you know. Get everybody you're affiliated with on the flow of a show. Because if you love the content, guess what? They'll appreciate it as well. Give us that thumbs up. Hit that thumbs up right there. Like the show. Show us that love right there. Trying to get this 50 likes out the gate to start the show. We appreciate you guys very kindly. That daily super chat go $100 daily. Super chat go $100 right there. All donations welcome and appreciate it. We also have a message board, Touchdown Alabama message board, and we encourage you, the fans that want to help us grow this message board, get it big, get it popping. If you're one of the people that just love talking Bama, you're addicted to it almost. This is your conversation. This is your team. This is your area right here. Hop in the message board. Start growing the conversation. TouchdownAlabama.com. Link is right there in the description. We encourage you, help us grow here, this message board, getting that conversation going, and whatever you want to talk about. We want to hear from you tonight. The passionate fans of Bama football, line us up. You can do this by calling 205-448-1358. And I'm going to call in to let your voice be made known on the show. 205-448-1358. One more time, 205-448-1358. Well, Elon, without further ado, let's get this thing jumping here. First topic of conversation, and that being, there's a lot to be said about the wide receiver room for the Crimson Tide. Of course, you as Alabama fans, you want to know everything regarding every position. When you look at the Crimson Tide, from now until fall camp, everybody will probably be beating me over the head with the question, Stephen, who's going to start at quarterback? And while I can give my prediction, I can give my projection, I can give my thought and opinion on who I think the quarterback is going to be, at the end of the day, it comes down between two who Nick Saban and Tommy Rees rolls out there first game of the season. And it comes down to who really takes this thing at that quarterback position. But at wide receiver, there are a lot of talented names on this roster. You got Jermaine Burton. You have Ja'Cory Brooks. You have Kobe Prentice. You have Kendrick Law. You have Shaz Preston. You have Malik Benson, transfer from Hutchinson Community College in Kansas. You have Jalen Hale. You have Jaron Hamilton. You have a lot of talent on the roster at wide receiver. But I remember hearing a couple days ago an Alabama legend, if you will, Tyrone Prothro, played in the early 2000s. And we all can sit here and we all can in unison say, what could have been, what would have been, what should have been for Prothro if not for the compound leg injury he suffered in 2005 for the Crimson Tide in the matchup against Florida. What should have been for Prothro, what could have been for Prothro, what would have been for one of the most electrifying, special big play, dangerous wide receivers in Alabama football history. But he mentioned somebody that his eyes will be on quite a bit here in the upcoming season. Tyrone Prothro said his eyes will be on Isaiah Bond, who's entering his sophomore year out of Buford High School in Georgia. Former four-star, came in the 2022 class. A young man of whom 5'11", 182 pounds. He's added some weight since his freshman year. He's put in a lot of work this offseason in terms of crafting his routes, getting his speed even better, elusiveness, evasiveness, his diversity of his route tree, getting all that in order, working with the likes of Tyreek Hill, Jalen Waddle, and Tavon Austin. So Bond putting the work in. We saw just last season, we saw flashes of what he could do as far as a vertical, take the top off, deep threat receiver. We saw him make, what was that, Eli, 53-yard catch against Arkansas last year. Got by the defense, made a play there. We saw against Tennessee last year, got open, made a big catch there. We saw in the Sugar Bowl against Kansas State, worked the field, got to the back of the end zone, 6-yard touchdown reception from Bryce Young, the first career touchdown catch for Bond. Finished the season 17 catches, 220 yards, a touchdown reception. A lot of US Bama fans felt like Bond should have played more, should have gotten more reps, more opportunities. I, for one, would not disagree with that assessment, that observation. Certainly would not disagree with it. But here is Tyrone Prothro saying, hey, here's the guy that I'm going to have my eye on. Here's the guy that I'm going to have my focus on. Here's the guy that I think can be really special for this team. And Prothro mentioned that, you know, he doesn't see necessarily a Jerry Jeudy or a Calvin Ridley or a Devontae Smith or an Amari Cooper on this year's team. And I can see where he's coming from with that, because those were all just special, unique, different kind of dudes there. But Prothro did say that Isaiah Bond would put him and would put fans in the mind of receivers from years past. He does flash the potential of a Jalen Waddle. He does flash the potential of maybe a Jerry Jeudy. He does flash the potential of maybe a Henry Ruggs. Not saying that he is these guys. He's not. He's his own person. He's Isaiah Bond. But according to Tyrone Prothro, he does flash the potential of maybe being like those guys that Alabama had in just, recent seasons. This is coming from one Tyrone Prothro. But the question becomes here is, can Bond put us in the mind of that? Can Bond put us in the mind of a Jeudy, a Ridley, a Waddle, a Ruggs? Can he do that? Can he do that while you're breaking in a brand new starting quarterback? Can he do that? If he can, then this is going to be a very special season for him and whoever the quarterback is. If he can, then this is going to be a very special season for him and also other receivers, tight ends, playmakers around him. Because when you have a big-time weapon that can stretch the field, obviously he's going to demand attention from a cornerback and a safety. He's going to demand attention, which means it's going to open things up for other receivers, running backs that can catch the ball at the backfield, and that tight end position as well. Bama's got a slew of tight ends. So for Isaiah Bond, you're high on him as Bama Nation. I really like him as somebody covering Alabama in the media. Tyrone Prothro, Bama legend, says this is the guy he will have his sights on. But can the young man who wears number 17 put us in the mind frame of recent receivers of years past? Going to get a chance to check that out this upcoming season. But pulling for him, hoping that he does just that. But we go to our first break here on the show. Don't touch that dial. Just getting started here. Upon our return, we go to the phone lines. We take your calls, your thoughts, your conversations. Light us up. I mean, who do you feel like will be the biggest number one receiver out of this bunch here for Alabama? Does Bama have that number one receiver? Jump into the message board. Let's get topics going, ideas going. Let's get your thoughts on that. And line us up with your phone calls after this.
Nine players have teamed up and released the Alabama Team Paper, which is a video yearbook they've put out for sale direct to fans. Now, for the first time, small dollar purchases from the fans can support the players as a group as well as a great cause, because $1 of every subscription payment is donated to the Boys and Girls Club of America. Be a 5-star fan base and support your team and a great cause with Team Paper. Check it out at teampaper.com/Alabama.
Remember the taste of Grandma's delicious sweets? Emily's Heirloom Pound Cakes brings back those precious memories with just one bite. Each cake made from scratch. They make the perfect dessert to share with family and friends for any occasion, and ordering is easy. Visit emily'sheirloompoundcakes.com. Click the online store and shop. Then pick up your fresh cake at the kitchen in downtown Homewood. Order yours online at emily'sheirloompoundcakes.com. Emily's Heirloom Pound Cakes, making memories from scratch.
All right, people, we're back rocking and rolling to the action from the break. Hottest ticket here. Talking your Bama football news. In my own words, yours truly, Stephen Smith of TDA, back here on the set. Appreciate you guys on a Friday TGIF edition of the show. Continue hitting that like button, tapping that subscribe button, sharing the show around. Daily Super Chat goal, $100. Daily Super Chat goal, $100 right there. Appreciate the support coming from all of you. We got a message board for those of you wanting to help us grow the message board, being a part of that conversation, being able to talk about, have a dialogue going, whatever you want to talk about, discuss for Bama football. Jump into that message board, get the conversation going. TouchdownAlabama.com. You can find the message board, touchdownalabama.com. Also, the link to the message board in the description right here in the chat line as well. Appreciate you guys helping us out there with that message board. Chuckling with a lot of you guys in the chat line. No, I was not in the transfer portal. I was not in the transfer portal chasing the Jimbo Fisher money. Was not in there doing that. Happy to be back in here with you guys. Justin did a phenomenal job. Appreciate him, proud of him. But no, I was not in the transfer portal chasing the Jimbo Fisher money. But we go to the phone lines now to grab your calls. The call segment brought to you by the Blue Wrench Gang. 205-448-1358. The number to call in to let your voice be made known. 205-448-1358. We take this call here. You're live on the show. What's happening? How we feeling? State your name and where you calling from.
Hey, Steven. This is Chris with Ballard Sports Media. I hope y'all are doing well tonight. I'll ask my question, but I think the phone line's messed up because I can't hear the show. But I did hear the beep that indicated that I'm on. I wanted to ask you what's a standout receiver this season for the Crimson Tide, because I'm looking at a returning man in Isaiah Bond, and I also look at guys like Kobe Prentice, Chaz. Oh, we also got Jermaine Burton returning, so I'll hang up and listen, and hopefully we can get the phone lines fixed. Thanks.
Appreciate Chris, my man Chris, Ballard Sports Media out of Coleman. We'll definitely look into those phone lines for you, my man. As far as number one big play receiver here, a lot of people in the chat line talking Malik Benson, transfer from JUCO, and I like Benson. I saw what he did up close personally during Alabama's Pro Day, catching passes from Bryce Young. played well in the A-Day game. Of course, Nick Saban kind of hid him until toward the end of that game, spring game. And of course, he brings the speed, strong hands, good routes, brings a lot of that to the table. But at the same time, you do look at Kobe Prentice, who did lead all of the freshman receivers last year with 33 catches? You got Kobe Prentice. You do have Isaiah Bond. You do have Kendrick Law, who Saban loves his toughness. You do have Jermaine Burton, who got to be more consistent catching the football, I know. You do have Ja'Cory Brooks, who led the team last year with 8 touchdowns. So you got a lot of talent here on the roster. And all of these guys, either one of these guys could be the number one guy. Either one of them could be numero uno. But I look at Benson, I look at Bond. One of those two could do it. I think Brooks can do it too. It's just which one can be the most consistent for brand new starting quarterback, brand new offensive coordinator. That's the main thing. Which one can be the most consistent for brand new starting quarterback, brand new offensive coordinator in Tommy Rees? Whichever one can be the most consistent is the big thing. But I think all of these receivers, because of the experience they gained last year, I think the receiver room as a whole should be much, much better. Appreciate my man Chris from Ballard Sports Media for calling in. 205-448-1358 for number to call in to let your voice be made known. Give your opinion on the show. 205-448-1358. One more time, 205-448-1358. Call segment brought to you by the Blue Wrench Gang, as you guys are continuing to get thoughts in. Awesome call topic here, Eli. How about Bama in the NFL, particularly the New England Patriots? We know Bill Belichick is not one for trying to bring in free agents, especially on offense. But will there be a change in Foxborough? Remember Eli, the last big-time talented wide receiver New England brought in from another team? 2007. They brought in Randy Moss via trade from the Oakland Raiders, now the Las Vegas Raiders. Here is DeAndre Hopkins, recently released by the Arizona Cardinals after 3 seasons, now a free agent, 31 years of age, former first-round pick of a 2013 NFL draft from those Clemson Tigers. Hopkins, 3-time first-team NFL All-Pro, 5-time Pro Bowler, and his 10 seasons in the NFL, 6 1,000-yard seasons. Guy can play. Guy still has plenty of football left in the tank. And according to NFL insider Ian Rappaport, Hopkins is visiting the Patriots next week. So, could we see a reunion of him and Bill O'Brien? We could. Could we see Mac Jones finally getting a number one option at wide receiver? Will the Patriots be able to get this done? Not let this fall through. Because you think about it. You bring in D-Hop, you still could possibly keep Kendrick Bourne and Devontae Parker, and you would have Bourne, Parker, Juju Smith, Mike Gesicki, and D-Hop, and Hunter Henry? I mean, Mac Jones could have him some then. I'm just saying. Mac 10 would have nothing to complain about at that point. He wouldn't. He absolutely wouldn't. So it's going to be interesting to see here. Next week, Hopkins visits the Patriots. But does New England pull the trigger? Does Bill Belichick go against his philosophy by bringing in this highly talented free agent? We shall see. We'll take a break right here, folks, from the show. Don't touch that dial. When we get back, we flip from offense to defense, primarily the secondary. Can this be an elite type of season for Terrion Arnold at cornerback? We'll discuss Arnold, Bama secondary after this.
What's up, Bama Nation? This is Rudy Griffin, former Alabama defensive lineman, and you're listening to my guy, Stephen M. Smith, in my own words, brought to you by Touchdown Alabama Magazine. Roll Tide, roll!
Thank you for tuning in. Show your support right now by clicking that like button. If you haven't subscribed, hit the subscribe button now and enable all notifications to make sure you don't ever miss any of the best Alabama football news, notes, and information right here on Touchdown Alabama.
Back into the action, folks. From the break, number one forum for Bama football news. In my own words, yours truly, Stephen Smith here of TDA. Appreciate everybody checking us out here on the show on a Friday. TGIF edition of the show. All the likes, keep on hitting that like button. Keep on tapping the like button, tapping that subscribe button, sharing the show. All super chats, love them. Jimmy the Batman Money Clay with that $50 donation, dropping the love there in the bucket. Appreciate Jimmy Clay showing love right here. Gotta love the fans, man. You guys are cracking me up. Sitting there saying, was Dancing Steven spotted in Nebraska? I mean, Dancing Steve was probably everywhere while I was gone, Eli. He was probably in Nebraska. I know I saw him in Florida. He probably got a tan down there. Probably in California somewhere. Dancing Steve was everywhere. So, as I had my break, he took his. I don't know how our breaks got on the same time, but he even made a show appearance, though. I give him credit. You know, when Justin was here, Dancing Steve, he did make a show appearance. So, hey, he does what he does. He does what he does. But we're back in here, folks, talking your Bama football, and we flip from offense to defense, where the Alabama secondary, which is could probably be one of the biggest strengths of the team in the coming fall, especially when you talk about the versatile athletic depth back there, the diversity in the back end, guys that can play so many different positions within the secondary. But to pull out one guy for a moment here, I'm pulling out here Terrion Arnold, who's entering his redshirt sophomore year. Your redshirt sophomore year, third season in the program, former five-star 2021 class out of Tallahassee, Florida, and a guy that, you know, played safety throughout his time in high school, was never truly asked to play cornerback. Last year was the first time, sort of out of necessity, that he had to play the position, sort of trial by fire, if you will. I thought Travaris Robinson, secondary coach, did a solid job with Terrion. I mean, Arnold still had 45 tackles last year, 8 pass breakups, an interception. Made the All-SEC freshman team. Made the freshman All-America team from the Football Writers Association. So Terrion did some good things. Had some growing pains, yes. Learning curve, absolutely. But did some good things. But the question for him in year 3 is, can he be an elite shutdown corner? Can he be a shutdown, lockdown, elite corner? Right? Because you as Bama Nation, you guys are expecting the defensive front to get that pressure, right? You guys are expecting the likes of Jaheim Otis, Damon Payne, Jamil Burrows, T.M. Smith, Justin Aboigbe, Monkel Goodwine, Tim Keenan. I mean, you guys are James Smith. I mean, you guys are expecting this defensive front to get that pass rush. Dallas Turner, Chris Braswell, and all those guys. You guys are expecting the defensive front to be at the quarterback's neck. You're expecting that. So while we are expecting that, we are also expecting the defensive secondary to create turnovers, right? Stay in front of these receivers, reroute guys, break up passes, get picks. If you can return those picks for touchdowns, that'd be great. Channeling that 2016 defense, if you can. Not saying that you have to. If you can, that'd be great. But we are expecting this Alabama defensive secondary to, be an elite group, be a ball-hawking group. And for Terrion Arnold, can he be that elite cornerback in year 3? One thing he is doing is he is getting the muscle on him. As you're checking out this video right here, I mean, Terrion getting that muscle on him, working with the strength team. He's squatting. He's lifting weights. He's getting the neck and the back and the shoulders and all of these muscle joints. He's getting all of this in order because he knows how marquee this year is for him. He knows this. A big year for Terrion Arnold. He could possibly pursue the draft if he wants to. A big year for him. If Terrion has a year where, let's say he goes out there and he has double-digit pass breakups, and let's say he goes out there and he has 3 or 4 really good interceptions. He has a year like that. He would put himself squarely being, first-round pick there. First round, probably early second-round pick. He has a year where he's got 10-plus pass breakups, 5-plus picks. And let's say these 5-plus picks, they all come in big games, right? So let's say he gets these 5-plus picks against Texas, A&M, Texas A&M on the road, gets a pick against LSU, pick against Tennessee, pick against Auburn. All of these picks come in marquee matchups, right? Where NFL scouts are all over the field. You got NFL pundits all over the field. And Terrion Arnold gets those 5-plus interceptions in those games. They're going to be looking at him, first-round pick after this season coming up here in the fall, if he hits those numbers. But right now, he's putting on the muscle. He's putting on the strength training here in the weight facility this offseason. And when you look at just him and Kool-Aid McKinstry together, here's my big thing for both of these two. Can 2 5-star corners pan out well together for Alabama and being together on the field at the same time across from each other? Eli, there are times I go back for 2014. Do you remember Alabama brought in Marlon Humphrey and Tony Brown? They were both 5-star corners in 2014. Tony Brown, 5-star from Beaumont, Texas. Marlon Humphrey, 5-star from Hoover High School here in the Birmingham area. Both with track backgrounds as well as play football. When they both came, everybody was kind of head over heels going, oh my goodness, if both of these two can play together, how special this could be. 2 5-star guys with tremendous skill sets can be lockdown defensive backs. We never truly got Brown and Humphrey on the field together at the same time. We never truly got that. It was, Tony Brown had, growing pains. He had things he had to learn and get better with. And, times where he was on the field, times where Tony Brown was not on the field. Tony Brown was probably one of the more emotional leaders in terms of what he brought passion-wise to the team, but you just never really got both of those two, him and Humphrey, on the field together, at the same time. Versus here we have McKinstry and Arnold, right, on the field at the same time. They both have talked about how comfortable they are playing with each other. Could Alabama have 2 shut-down, lockdown corners that play well off of each other, and they both pan out well together on the field for Bama football? Because if both of these two can be elite as far as really having receivers not being able to do pretty much anything at all, this could be very fun to watch. And we've seen Alabama defensive backs do this, like shut down opposing receivers. Like we saw in years past, D. Milner shut down opposing receivers. We saw that. We saw how Levi Wallace and Anthony Averett we used to call Anthony Averett straps. That's how legit he was. He was underrated as a 3-star, but Anthony Averett would just lock you down. And we saw him do it. Like, so it's not like it can't be done. We've seen Alabama defensive backs in the Saban era perform this well. We saw Dre Kirkpatrick do it. So it's not like it cannot happen. It's not like it cannot be accomplished on the field. It's just, can we see it? Will we see it from Kool-Aid and Terrion? And especially Terrion Arnold going into his second year fully playing corner. But going to be fun here to watch this defensive secondary. But we take another break here, folks, from the show on Touch That Dial, folks. Upon our return, we get back to your phone line with the phone lines, taking your calls, your thoughts, your conversations. Light us up on the other side of the break, and not just light us up. For those of you trying to help us grow this message board, jump in the message board. Get your conversations on, dialogue, whatever you are trying to talk about. When it comes to Bama football, hop in that message board right there. Link to it in the chat line, in the description. We'll be back after this.
Every sports fan deserves the proper representation. Whitwell Sports introduces to you the Title Towel. Wave that Title Towel in the air like you just don't care in support of Nick Saban and the Alabama Crimson Tide. Only $9.99 and it lasts a lifetime. Head on over to whitwellsports.com and get your Title Towel today.
This is Chris Rogers, 2009 national champion. You are listening to the baddest, when I say the baddest, sports show in the state of Alabama. In my own words, you know, yours truly, Touchdown Alabama Magazine. Don't touch that dial.
Thank you for tuning in. Show your support right now by clicking that like button. If you haven't subscribed, hit the subscribe button now and enable all notifications to make sure you don't ever miss any of the best Alabama football news, notes, and information right here on Touchdown Alabama.
All right, folks, here we go. Rocking and rolling, locked in with you. From the break, hottest show on the streets here, talking Bama football news. In my own words, yours truly, Stephen Smith of TDA on a Friday, TGIF edition of the show. Appreciate you guys calling in, writing in, chatting in, donating in, making this your show, your network platform channel space to talk all things Bama football. Continue giving us that thumbs up right there, hitting that like button, liking the show, hitting that subscribe button, sharing the show around. Appreciate all the love coming from you, the Bama fans. Phone lines open, 205-448-1358. The call segment is brought to you by the Blue Wrench Gang, 205-448-1358. One more time, 205-448-1358. Definitely want to hear from you guys as you guys are continuing to get your thoughts in the call in. We go to another cool call topic, this one on one Jahmyr Gibbs, of whom tearing it up. OTAs and mandatory minicamp for the Detroit Lions, getting that connection down with Jared Goff, and it looks like, Gibbs is trying to make things very exciting here in Detroit. Can catch the ball out of the backfield. We're seeing different clips from the Lions of just Gibbs' hands and routes and speed and playmaking ability. Detroit is not old Detroit no more. They got some players. They got some guys, they got some dudes, they got some coaches, led by Dan Campbell. You can't laugh at Detroit anymore. You can't mock the Lions anymore. You can't throw shade. You can't have Detroit as the bottom punchline of every joke anymore. They're a good team. They're a good team, and Jahmyr Gibbs is looking forward to making them an even better team. Gibbs had something funny to say on Thursday, Eli. They were talking to him about, so what's harder, NFL practices or practices with Coach Saban at Alabama? And Jahmyr Gibbs is like, I mean, harder, definitely Alabama practices because, Coach Saban, we actually are in full pass. We actually hitting out there, like real hitting at Alabama practice. I mean, here in the NFL, they don't try to kill us out here. So the Alabama practice is way, way harder. So you can add Gibbs to the long list of former Bama players that once they get to the league, they will open up and tell you practices in the league way easier than practices in Tuscaloosa when it comes down to how Coach Saban and his staff orchestrate those practices. But kudos here to Gibbs. Also, kudos here too, and I know that Alabama softball did not go far in the Women's College World Series, but kudos to the girls and the grit that they showed, getting all the way to the World Series. Montana Fouts, what a career. What a career. It hurts that she does not have a national championship to show for it. Because I just remember, I think it was 2020, where Montana took those girls all the way to the World Series. I mean, she was just on fire. Like, it was insane. That was the year, where she went up against Arizona, right? And Arizona had some bats. Arizona had some girls that were playing on the U.S. Olympic team. And she shut that whole, Montana shut that whole lineup down. I think she had 15 strikeouts that game. I mean, it was crazy. And then the next series was UCLA and Rachel Garcia. And Montana shut that whole lineup down. Like, I'm like, holy smokes. And we get up against Florida State, and I'm thinking, Bama's going to take care of Florida State. Unfortunately, that didn't happen. And, this year was a tough year for Bama softball, but Montana pushed those girls all the way to the World Series. It just didn't happen. Patty Gasso in Oklahoma do it again. I mean, I don't know how, but Patty Gasso in Oklahoma, they keep a strong team every year. Kudos to them. We take our final break here on the show, folks. We'll touch that dial. When we get back, we tidy up some loose ends with a fun conversation about, is Alabama about to have 4 starting quarterbacks in the National Football League? We check in on one Bryce Young and those Carolina Panthers after this.
I'm Malachi Moore, and you're watching In My Own Words with Stephen M. Smith on Touchdown Alabama YouTube channel.
Thank you for tuning in. Show your support right now by clicking that like button. If you haven't subscribed, hit the subscribe button now and enable all notifications to make sure you don't ever miss any of the best Alabama football news, notes, and information right here on Touchdown Alabama.
Well, folks, definitely appreciate every last one of you today for the calls, for the donations, for the chats, the conversations, doing what you do, making this your show to talk Bama football. Guys, shout out Brian Watson with that $4.99 in the Super Chats. Appreciate Brian Watson helping us out here on the show, showing love to us right here. Continue hitting that thumbs up. Give us that like button right there. Hit that subscribe button. Make this your spot here for all things Bama football. Appreciate the love. I think another super chat just come in. Eli, I don't know who this is from. Wait a minute, I know who this is from. Put some fire on him, he's hot. Jimmy Bad Clay with the 50-piece, another 50-piece. And the super chat for Jimmy Clay. We've hit that daily super chat goal of $100 in my return to the show. Appreciate all of you guys making this your spot here for Alabama football. Love you guys doing what you do, making my job a whole lot easier. But as we round this thing off, people, Nick Saban for a long time, what has he always been knocked about prior to these last few years? He cannot produce a quarterback. Can't put a quarterback in the first round of the NFL draft. Can't produce an NFL quarterback. Well, now, Nick Saban currently has 3 starting quarterbacks in the NFL with Alabama ties. When you look at Jalen Hurts, Mac Jones, Tua Tagovailoa, and now he's about to be looking at a 4th starting quarterback in the NFL with Alabama ties. When you look at one, Bryce Young. Young, the number 1 overall pick in this recent draft back in April by the Carolina Panthers, and Young has been mesmerizing everybody in Carolina. Whether it's rookie minicamp, organized team activities, mandatory minicamp, it doesn't matter. Young has been mesmerizing everybody. At this point, nobody cares that he's 5'10" and 204 pounds. No one cares. All they see is, hey, this guy can throw it. This guy's accurate. This guy's elusive. He's athletic. This guy's got a high football IQ. And man, does this guy have cold, calm swagger. I mean, his swagger is better than Old Spice right now. And Old Spice has got swagger. Can I get an NIL deal off saying that? Yeah, we might as well call Old Spice to get that NIL deal off there. Put that on the calendar. Call Old Spice. Let's get that NIL deal going. But anyway, Bryce Young, I mean, and Frank Reich, he's been all about Bryce Young since he drafted him. Talking about his football intelligence. Young making a 98 on the S2 cognitive test. The ability to process that information fast. Teammates have been enamored with Young's ability out there in the field. I mean, Frank Reich's talked about how Bryce has been commanding the offense 10 for 10 out there on the field. So it didn't surprise me when he decided to move Bryce Young up to QB1 this week. Told reporters, hey, this is the next step in Bryce's development. We're moving him up to QB1. We're giving him all the reps he needs with the first team offense, getting him prepared for week 1 of our season when Carolina takes on the Atlanta Falcons divisional game. I think that game will be at Mercedes-Benz Stadium in Atlanta. So this just gives you all indications that Carolina is going to look to start Bryce Young week 1. This is giving you all indications. When you got the teammates high on him, Frank Reich is high on him, coaching staff very comfortable moving him to QB1 quickly. And then when you watch clips of Bryce Young at these practices, every ball is a dime. Every ball is a beauty. There's no misstep. There's no overthrow. There's no underthrow. There's no wasted motion. That is imperative when you have no wasted motion. And Bryce has no wasted motion with his throwing. So for Coach Saban, for a long time, him having to deal with, he doesn't produce a quarterback. Alabama's not a quarterback program. Alabama's not quarterback you. Now he's got Tua, Mac, Jalen, and now Bryce. 4 of them all in the league. 4 of them, well, 3 of them current starting quarterbacks. And it looks like from all indications, Bryce Young is about to be and maybe the 4th one there. So kudos to Bryce, man. Moving on up that depth chart to QB1. Eli, you told me before we came on, you're not even a Panthers fan, you're a Falcon fan, but you are looking to buy you a number 9 Panthers jersey. I mean, I might have to join you on that. Might have to get me one of those. I don't know how much they cost right now. I'm probably have to look at a few of these sites. But Bryce does look good in that Black Panthers jersey. I'll be honest with you right there. But as always, folks, you want the best in news, notes, information, conversation, entertainment on your favorite program, that being the Alabama Crimson Tide. You can get this by accessing the Touchdown Alabama magazine app. You download the app from the iPhone App Store. If you're rocking Team Apple, Google Play Store. If you got the Android phone for your audio needs, check us out. iTunes or Apple Podcasts, Spotify, Stitcher, Spreaker, TuneIn Radio, Overcast.fm, or iHeartRadio. We got you covered right there. Good and gracious Lord sees fit. I will try to be back on Monday, continuing the conversation that is Tide football. Remember, Bama fans, you can purchase individual copies of Touchdown Alabama magazine. Have those sent to your door. That link found in the description. If you're trying to get your hands on the fresh edition, print edition of TDA the magazine, here's what you do. You go to touchdownalabama.com. You click join, become a member and or a subscriber today. That link in the description as well. Shout out you guys, the incredible fans of Bama football. Great to be back with you guys. Enjoyed the calls, the super chats, the donations, the phone calls. Doing what you do. Making this your show, your spot here to talk Bama football. Appreciate you guys. Shout out my man Eli Walker in the production studio. Handling that business behind the scenes. Doing his thing there. Guys, shout out, my wife, my daughter back home there, Mia and Mariah. Appreciate both of you guys for putting up with me the very best that you can do. Till next time, folks, husbands, love your wives. Wives, appreciate, value those husbands, children. You guys continue doing the right thing, fun thing, smart thing, good thing, legitimate thing to not be bored there. Get yourself those 3 hearty meals a day, those 3 great laughs a day. You protect yourself. You protect the loved ones around you. Till next time, folks, I'm your man, Stephen M. Smith, and you've been listening to In My Own Words.